This story takes us back to a remote village in 1973, where a series of terrifying supernatural events plagued one family for years. It begins when Isha's grandfather purchased a piece of land and started building a home. While digging the foundation, his hoe struck something unusual. As the soil was cleared, what emerged was chilling. A human skeleton, wrapped in a red sari, complete with bangles, sindoor, and only shadows melting into darkness, and brass artifacts, clearly the remains of a woman who had once lived and died violently. Spooked, the workers and grandfather turned to a local priest, a religious figure, for help. He performed rituals, sealed the area, and reburied the skeleton elsewhere. The house was completed, and a pond was dug where the bones had been discovered. But disturbing occurrences began soon after. Isha's grandmother, who had just given birth to her first child, began noticing a strange female figure roaming the courtyard at night, always walking east to west, always humming in an unknown language. Her husband brushed it off as stress and loneliness, but things escalated. One night, Isha's grandmother dreamt the woman whispered, "None of you will survive me. You will all die." Not long after, while her infant son slept in a cradle on the balcony, she stepped away to the pond to perform ablutions for evening prayer. When she returned, the nightmare became real. An unknown woman was standing there, holding her baby. Her face was hidden by long hair, but when confronted, she slowly lifted her head, revealing a horrifyingly pale face, streaked with blood, and let out a twisted laugh. Isha's grandmother, who had just given birth to her first child, began noticing a strange female figure roaming the courtyard at night, always walking east to west, always humming in an unknown language. Her husband brushed it off as stress and loneliness, but things escalated. One night, Isha's grandmother dreamt the woman whispered, "None of you will survive me. You will all die." Not long after, while her infant son slept in a cradle on the balcony, she stepped away to perform ablutions for evening prayer. To comfort her, Isha's grandfather stayed home during the pregnancy, sending her brother to manage his business. But when it was time to give birth, something horrifying occurred. An old nurse arrived, her face hidden behind a long veil. The baby was born. But instead of joy, what followed was a piercing cry, and then a ghastly laugh. The grandfather burst into the room and realized this wasn't a nurse at all. It was her, the same woman, eyes wild, lips curled into a twisted smile. She snarled, "I will finish it. No one will be born." Before anyone could act, she drove sharp nails into the newborn's stomach. The baby died instantly. Again, the grandmother collapsed. Again, her world was shattered. Terrified villagers urged them to call another priest. The local one came and performed rituals, but admitted this was beyond him. He suspected a powerful demon, a pishak, was behind it. He directed them to a more powerful priest in a village 7 kilometers away. That priest agreed to help, but warned them it may come again tonight. He gave them holy water to sprinkle. That night, a violent storm battered the house. Groans, screams, and unnatural howling surrounded them. The next morning, the priest arrived with 2 assistants. He marked a dust boundary around the house and began intense prayer in the courtyard. The storm returned. Trees bent, branches cracked, and winds howled. Then the entity was summoned into one of the assistants. It spoke in a voice that was both male and female. It raged. "Why have you called me?" The priest demanded to know why it was killing innocent children. The demon finally confessed. It said it was taking revenge because the villagers had insulted its guru, a female tantric who had once performed dark rituals on that very land. She had sacrificed children during every new moon to grow stronger. When the villagers found out, they killed her and buried her and her dark belongings right where the house now stood. The demon was her disciple, bound by mantras, and had remained guarding her grave. "You moved her," it said. "Now I bring terror." But the priest stood his ground. He explained they had disturbed her unknowingly and ordered the demon to leave. The demon demanded a final offering. The priest refused and struck the possessed assistant with a sacred stick. The demon groaned in fury, then gave in. "I will leave, but I will break your largest tree as I go." A fierce gust of wind blew, and the tallest tree's top branch snapped clean off. The priest handed the grandparents 2 protective lockets and sealed the house with rituals. The haunting stopped, but the price wasn't over. Isha's grandmother's 3rd child drowned in the pond at just over 2 years old. After that, the pond was filled in. No more apparitions, no more screams. Eventually, she gave birth to a healthy son and daughter. But to this day, that house remains a place of whispered stories, with villagers still afraid to walk near it after dark.